Greetings, Pookie Dookies. I don't know why I said that. I'm not even high. I miss my gummies so much because they took some of the pain away. I'm in excruciating pain. My shoulders, like my upper arms, are just But boy, do I have a week to tell you about. It's been a week of highs, mostly lows, but the highs are going to beat out the lows. I know that doesn't sound very uh, iconic or, special, but it's all I've got. So let's see. This was the first song I put on my soundtrack, and this is the first song that came up, and I love this song. And it spoke to me about how I'm feeling in this moment. And so that's why I chose it. And now I have to listen to the album because I just forgot how great this song is, even though it's on my soundtrack of my life. And it's on there for a reason. And I had the lyrics up too to listen to the lyrics. And it's just. So I recommend you listen to it. Go to my soundtrack. It's on there with about 3 days worth of music. And I edit it. I'll be listening to it and I'll hear a song that doesn't speak to me anymore and I'll take it out or I add songs. So it's ever evolving, like me, and unlike most men. First of all, can we speak about this beautiful shirt? My roommate returned from her vacation and she gifted me this. Let's see, this is going to make a lot of noise. My computer is somewhat. It's slowly falling apart, but we're going to make it work. She's not in here right now because mommy's home too, and so actually she's been spending a lot of time in her basket on the kitchen table because the weather. It's a beautiful weekend. It's in the low 80s, low humidity as far as humidity goes in New York City in the summertime or anywhere really. Well, unless you're in a landlocked state. But when I opened up the gift she gave me, when I opened this up, I immediately loved it. I, like most New Yorkers, wear a lot of, and that's kind of been my signature thing because it saves me a lot of time. I wear gray, black, navy, or blue, white, and that olive color, that's kind of my go-to, like most New Yorkers. Every once in a while you see one that's just out there. And I respect that too. Is she a little bit, I can't tell, is she a little bit coachy or is she a little bit like a, well, that's just going to have to be good enough. So you know, I love her so much. And she's in her basket and I walk through the kitchen to the bathroom or back and forth and she's really sleeping. I'll lean over and I'll put my hair back because I don't want to disturb her ears. And I give her soft little smooches on her head, on the top of her head. She likes it. At least it doesn't. She seems to like it. Or she tolerates it. She knows how much she's loved. I've even kissed her paw too. She's fabulous. Anyway, what a week it's been. Let's start with Monday. I saw my therapist, my wonderful therapist, and had a good, constructive session with her. And then I was early for work, and yes, I'm in a lot of pain, but I can't afford to take any more time off of work, really. And I'll talk about that later, but more about that later. But so I decided to sit in a pretty park, and I like doubled up my lunch because I knew, I was going to be hungry if I just waited until lunchtime. So I ate a little bit of my lunch, and I talked to the birdies and looked at the beautiful flowers and trees and listened to the bird song. And there was a trio of men, probably in the 30s, behind me talking about, I don't know, Goldman Sachs type shit. And it's just like, you need to read Moral Ambition. And no, I'm not getting paid to say that. I truly believe it. Or they're working at McKinsey or one of these others. I didn't understand the word they said. It was economics, and it just seems so soul-suckingly dull. Anyway, that's when I got the phone call. This happened the first time, too. That my rescheduled chemo appointment for, this is Monday, it was going to be the following day, Tuesday, has to be canceled and rescheduled because my insurance is still denying that medication. And I barely made it into work without sobbing, I became inconsolable, sobbing. I've never had so many coworkers, supervisors hugging me gently. Now they seem to get how serious this all is, because we got HR, well, supervisors got HR on the phone, they got benefits on the phone. I was sobbing, or I was doing the entire time I was there. And so thankfully, they let me go home under other paid leave. Because that just, that just did me in again. I am in so much pain. And it's invisible pain, and I have a story about that too. But anyway, sobbing. And I'm on Zoom calls with HR and benefits, and they say they're going to help me, and my union is going to help me. And so after that, they said, do you want to stay? And I said, whatever. And I said, am I going to lose hours? And they said, no, OPL means other paid leave, so we're going to pay you today to go home. And so I thank them for that. They've not been particularly helpful or understanding or sympathetic to my my RA and my CPTSD in the past. But when you have a 56-year-old woman sobbing uncontrollably, I just couldn't stop. There was so much sobbing that needed to be done. And I actually went home and still managed to make calls, send emails. I meditated too. Because I wrote all this down because I've done so much I can't even remember. I've got paperwork, I don't know. Anyway, I meditated to a pain reduction music that I have to give a shout out. I'll put Insight Timer down below. It might even be on my bio. I highly recommend it. I think I fell asleep to it. Not before setting my alarm, though that's really not been a problem because I think I woke up around 2:45 because of the pain. It's it's my whole upper body. I don't have my wrist thing on right now. But my shoulders, man. It's like stabbing. You know how they stabbed Frodo? Like that. feels like it's never gonna, oh God, it's awful. I try to do my gentle yoga in the morning and raising my arms to stretch. I have to like do it slowly, and then I have to pull my arms down quickly to get the pain over with as fast as possible. And I'm just like, because it feels like I'm being stabbed. Okay, Tuesday. I woke up, like I said, between like 2 and 3 a.m. due to pain, especially my shoulder pain. I did go into work, which helped with my mood, because I also became suicidal on Monday. I was like, I can't take this anymore. And I told my social worker, because Mount Sinai assigned me a social worker who is incredible. I may have mentioned this in the last video that only one person has watched. I really recommend you watch it because it has a lot of valuable information in there. And it's memoir, but I think it could help a lot of people. Anyway, that's why I restored it on Instagram today. Because, I mean, I'm not really doing it. I'm doing it for me most of all, but I really think I could help people who are going through similar situations. And aren't we all? 70% of this country lives with chronic illness. Anyway. I worked with, they accommodated my pain, which was kind of them to do, because I wrote they finally solved the chronic, untreated, but also treated, because 2 to 4 pain is still pain. I would love to get down to 2 to 4 pain. I'm at 9 to, I think I'm at 10. It's just, especially if I sit too long. But if I stand too long too, it's exhausting. What it does to a person. And because that second canceled first chemo. And I came in because I can't afford to lose more pay. Wednesday, I can't even remember, but the same. I did go into work. They afforded me accommodations. And people came to me. They sent out an email to like all the supervisors and management. And I had people coming up to me all day asking me if I was okay. And or giving me gentle hugs. And my one coworker friend, when I told him what happened, and he's the one who has read up on RA, and so he says, "Can I hug you gently?" And I said, "Sure, please." And I was just, this was on the Monday though, and when I was still sobbing, and he cursed the insurance system companies, did all the cursing for me. It was wonderful to hear. I said, thank you so much. Okay, Thursday is my disability phone appointment. And I had also reached out, because I was told to reach out to by union about short-term disability and also emergency rent assistance. I called the first time, no one answered, and they're only available until 1 p.m. This unit of my union. So I called and left a message, and I said, listen, I have a disability claims appointment on phone from this time to probably, I knew it was going to take a while. So And it took about the time I said it was. I said, so please don't call during that time. Call after that time. So what did they do? They called during that time. And I was denied disability about 20 minutes after that phone call. And not for medical reasons. They didn't even look at my medical reasons. It was because I was working and some of my monthly income was over $1,600. Now, why the fuck that means anything? It doesn't take away my pain. And working sure as hell doesn't take away my pain. But if I don't work, I'm homeless. I'm without food. I'm without insurance. It's all so... And I had to gently school a couple of well-meaning coworker friends, and they are friends, who said, you know, it's so hard because too many people abuse the system. And I had to say, listen, it's very hard to abuse the system. It's hard to just get in the system. The paperwork involved, the documentation involved, the doctors, medical records involved. And thank goodness for my roommate, because she printed stuff out for me. And she actually wrote me a letter because I was open and honest with her and told her everything that had been going on since she'd been on her trip. And anyway, and I wrote that. So but this time when I saw, because first they said it takes 3 to 6 months to make a decision. She goes, but you can check earlier too if you want, which I should have taken. And I kind of like thought of that as a red flag, like, we're going to deny you. And lo and behold, I checked it 20 minutes later, and I was denied. And this time I did not cry. I did not lose composure in that sense. I became very, very angry. And so I sent a snapshot of that. I emailed it to my social worker. I texted it to her. I've got to call her too. I'm sure she's incredibly busy, and I'm sure she's working on my behalf, because she said, if they deny you, I and our legal team will appeal it immediately. So we're appealing it. And this is a blue state. Imagine if you lived in Texas. And I told everybody about it at work the next day, because I want them to know how. And I was speaking to a coworker friend who has disability, and she still works. And she has a disability that you can see. She has to use a walker with a seat on it, and she's very visibly disabled, whereas my disability is invisible. That's why no one really... And, you know, when people ask you, you know, you see them in the hallway at work, and like, how you doing? And I could say, I'm in the depths of despair and incredible pain. How are you today? And I think I'm going to start saying that. But you just say fine, because I've at least started saying I'm hanging in there, which is hard to do because my hands are shit. But metaphorically speaking, I'm hanging in there. So I could really use some gummies. Should I do GoFundMe for just 1 tin of gummies? It's like $35 with tax. I don't know. Anyway, and I did call out Thursday after that appointment, because that was 90 minutes. And then I found out 20 minutes later I'd been denied. And wouldn't you know it too? Because I don't know if I told you, like a week or two before my disability appointment, I looked on. I got an email from my student loan lender, saying that all my student loans had been wiped clean, had been paid for. And I thought that was a very good sign that I was going to be, because if you get approved for disability, they wipe out your student loan debt. That's not why I'm doing it, but I just recently found out about it, and that's a wonderful perk. Wouldn't you know, that same day, my my student debt is back, and all its disgusting glory. Anyway, I did spend hours applying for short-term disability, and I kept writing it in shorthand, which is STD, which I think they say STI now. But it makes me giggle. I don't know why. Like I said. Anyway, emergency rental assistance before the pain and exhaustion took over. And of course, I'm still not looking forward to going to bed because of the shoulder pain. So thank you to my dear friend, Danny at work, who has been giving me those icy hot patches, which I think I like better. He's also brought in Tiger Balm for me, but it hurts my hands to rub it in. I need somebody to rub it. I mean, it helps, but damn, those icy hot patches he gave me, I could wear those at night, I could wear them at work, and they lasted a long time. Of course, they rip off kind of sometimes a little bit of layer skin when you wear it for like 8 hours or more, which I do. I don't know, even if they've like kind of stopped working, it's like a placebo effect, thinking that they're still working, but because they get that icy hot. It really does help. Also, I did find those ginger chews, and I have to say, I've been downing these like, and I'm not a big candy person. In fact, I don't buy candy at all, because I know there's a lot of candy that's accidentally vegan, but I don't do that. I was never a big candy person, except, like a kid, like Snickers and that kind of shit. But of course, I don't eat those anymore. And the only chocolate that I like, despite my roommate got me some excellent vegan chocolate one time, which was as a gift. I don't know if it was Christmas, birthday, or taking care of Lily Bell, but it was really good. The Trader Joe's has those sunflower cups. They're like Reese's peanut butter cups, but they're vegan and gluten-free, and they have sunflower seed butter with it. The only problem is I eat the whole bag, and all that sugar is not good for me. So anyway, I did not get more because I'm on a very, very tight budget. I have enough for this month's rent, and then I have like less than $100 to last me for 2 weeks. And that's why I chose the song I did. Because you're on your own. And I keep trying. One more day. I keep giving it one more day. But these, I've been eating like 5 or 6 of these at work. And it feels like, I got them for chemo. But of course, I've not had chemo yet. And so I thought, well, I wonder if the ginger, because Trader Joe's hasn't had ginger powder in its spice section for a while. And I'm out. And it'll come back soon because it's going to be fall and autumn again. I can't wait. Not that I like to wish time away. And we've had mostly lovely, similar weather, and then we've also had torrential flooding and rain, and I love thunderstorms, but We have had some 100+ days, but at least it hasn't been like weeks and weeks and weeks of it. But I highly recommend these if you have pain. Maybe it's placebo effect too, but that, and if you're not into ginger, you probably won't like it, but, and they're easy enough to eat. I kind of let them settle in my mouth if you have dentures, and then they're easy to chew. And so I'm having those this weekend. And I was given methotrexate pills. Now these are the ones that gave me all the terrible side effects, but I'm desperate. I need something. I've been taking 3,200 milligrams of prescription Advil, and just barely touching the pain. And I used up the old methotrexate that I had. And she gave me the prescription for 6 once a week. And 10 would have been better, but I think because I spoke of wanting to end my life, and the scenario was, because I couldn't do it in my apartment, and I'm not going to do it. It's just there. It's like this comedian, female comedian, because of course men would do anything to go to therapy, straight men at least. We all know this. It's just the truth. Until you can tell me otherwise. Anyway, show me otherwise. But she uses her great sense of humor in discussing. She has chronic suicidal ideation too, and she's like, "I'm not actually going to do it. It's just relaxing to think about," and I so related to that. And I had to tell my therapist about that on Monday, because a lot of times that's what it is. It's just relaxing to think about it. My scenario was that I would just go to a park with a towel or a blanket and sit on the grass and just take all the medicine I have. And hopefully drift off into non-existence. Of course, knowing New York, they'd strip me of God knows what they do to my body until either park management or because they say homelessness is getting better, but I see a lot more homeless people than ever before. And I just read that they closed 2 homeless shelters. Donna, you got your job cut out for you. And I've written to him about homelessness and the housing first. And I now got a log number for all of the places, all the apartment lotteries that I applied for. Some of them are higher than others, but at least I got a log number for all of the places. One place does not have an elevator, so I'm going to have to extend that. Seriously. I can't. I just can't. Anyway, kind of went off course there. But Friday, worked with accommodations, which was lovely. And hopefully I completed the short-term disability forms correctly and sent them to HR. But actually, my head supervisor sent them to HR. She walked them over to HR for me. Thank you so much, Ms. M. And also, I had asked coworkers, colleagues, if anyone had a cane that they were willing to let me have. And Ms. M came to the rescue again. She had a cane that was barely used by her brother who had foot surgery several years ago. She brought it in. And let me tell you something. For those with invisible illness, what did I write? What a difference walking on the New York streets. But I wanted to say, what a difference a cane makes, too. No one bumped into me. And as soon as I got on the train, a woman, it's all 99% of the time. It's a woman. It's a woman. It's a woman. Immediately offered me her seat. So thank you, woman. Thank you, dear woman, for doing that. Oh, there I wrote it. What a difference a cane makes. I do have to switch hands a lot because of my wrist pain and my hand pain. And I haven't used a cane since I had my knee surgery, which was 15 years ago. So it takes a while to get used to it. But now today I made myself go. I had 1 cup of coffee, and then I made myself presentable to go to do my Trader Joe's run, so I wouldn't have to do that tomorrow. And plus, Leslie's calling me tomorrow, and so I get to, she's my sister friend. I tear up just thinking about it. And she also told me, because I told her about my being, she's on my safety plan, and so is Greg. And she said, please tell Greg all of this too. So I did. And because he's a guy, he responded with a heart, and but it said everything that I know people, it said everything in those 2 things. Men just respond differently. Or he does, but it really meant a lot to me. And I told him, I said, Leslie told me I had to tell you too. Oh, goodness. Anyway, but today, like I said, I made myself go to Trader Joe's early, and I didn't bring my cane because I thought it would be kind of cumbersome to carry the bags with the cane. It might be too much for me. So I'm walking home. I'm on my block, and there are 2 bagel shops on my block that, according to my roommate, aren't even the best bagels. And, she goes, those aren't real New York City bagels. But anyway, what are these NYU students now and tourists now? So there's always lines. So it's like 50 feet of trying to get through a single space. And anyway, so it's my least favorite part, except that I carry my vegan bags. And so I have 1 vegan bag on one shoulder, so there are no dead bodies in this bag. And then I have the Futures vegan bag on this side. So both sides have to see it if they so choose, and happen to be looking up at their phones or talking to their friends. Anyway, this family, and the first member of this family was early 20s, white woman. And I don't know if you have CPTSD, you can read someone really quickly. And I read very quickly that she was going to be a problem. Now, if I had been in her situation and I had seen someone, I'm obviously older. I do have I have gray hair. And I was carrying 4 bags of groceries. I would have stopped and allowed her to pass. This did not happen. She did not have that thought. So she walks past me and bumps into me really hard. And I went, ow! And I looked at her and I said, that really hurt. And she got this look in her eye like no one had ever reprimanded her for anything. And then I also saw her eyes dart to her father, who was behind me, like saying, Daddy, help me. Defend me. So he said, I'm sorry. And this is where I'm going to end this particular vlog memoir episode. I am I am a half Earth socialist. I'll even put the link for half Earth socialist on the book down below. So, and my father was a rapist and a child abuser, and yet I still learned manners to say, to treat people with common decency and respect, to respect your elders. And I know we live in a very different world now, but she was just so, she looked like, the look on her face, I wish I could take a picture of it, but I stared her down, and she's like, Daddy, help me. And it's his fault too. It's the parents' fault. I'm tired of seeing another generation of kids growing up not knowing common decency. They don't hold doors for people. They don't say thank you. They don't say please. They don't take their earbuds out. They don't stop talking on the phone when you're dealing, when you're trying to talk to them. What they're really, they bump into you and don't say excuse me. They don't say I'm sorry. They don't give you a seat on the train when you have unless you have a cane that shows that you definitely have a disability. They'll butt in front of you, especially the men will like push ahead of me to get off the train. But I don't expect any more from men. Seriously. I've said this before, they just have not evolved. Most of them. I know a few who have. One of them is one of my best friends. But it's funny because I was on Instagram some today because I wanted to repost that episode 7 was up because I rewatch all my, before I before I make them live, or not make them live, but publish them, make them available to watch. And I really liked what I had to say in that episode. So if you have a time or desire, I would watch that episode. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Oh, I'll Fly Away. And I couldn't find the version of the song with Gillian Welch and Alison Krauss. So I chose another female singer who's beautiful too when I posted it on IG last week. But it must have been I'm not good about what times to post or whatever, But I decided to post it again this morning because I figured I'm on Instagram. I shouldn't have been because it hurts my hands. But I wanted to repost that episode was available because I had one viewer. And like I said, one is better than none. And I'm doing it for me mostly as a record of my life. And a cautionary tale. But I really think it could help people, as I think this episode could help people. If but this lack of courtesy, lack of common, So like I said, I'm not a prude. I'm not a conservative. Obviously not. I am Trump's worst enemy. I am a socialist. I guess a communist is his worst enemy, but he doesn't know the difference between any of that. Socialist, communist, they're all the same to him and his administration. And anyway, I won't go into that. But what did I write about her? And I said, that's bad parenting. And I see its effects daily on the streets of New York City. And I blame the parents of these young people. How can you not teach your children to hold doors for people? Yeah, I know they're born with an iPhone, and they're born with an iPhone in their hand, basically. And I pity them for that. I feel sorry for them because they're never going to know patience. It's going to be very hard for them. It's just a complete lack of awareness of their surroundings, of people around them, of the effect of them to those people around them. I'm just so tired of it. I'm tired of it. Yeah, I wrote churning out entitled, uncaring, rude kids who then become the same as adults. This guy had to apologize for his daughter. She didn't even know to say, I'm sorry or excuse me. And she looked like a deer caught in the headlights. And of course, I was sympathetic to the deer. I'd be sympathetic to the deer. I would try to slam on my brakes. But her, like I said, it's not just her, it's her parents' fault. And this was an upper middle, tell her they were upper middle class, white family. She's probably an NYU student. I'm not saying, generalizing that all of the NYU students are like this, but probably a lot of them are. And I have talked to some very airheaded NYU students. So money obviously helps get some of these kids into college because some of these people, they don't read, they don't know how to pronounce words. I saw another clip. Well, anyway, George Carlin was saying in the first clip, I watched this clip with him, and he said, I try to stay optimistic and positive, but he really said that he holds no hope. Holds out no hope. Or he didn't, because he died in 2008, but this was 2004. And he says he holds out no hope for humanity. And I'm kind of at that point. I mean, we just it's not all it's humanity's fault that we are where we are. I see these pregnant women, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And why aren't you fostering a child? Anyway, that wasn't supposed to be part of this. But anyway, I just wanted good things. My social worker legal team is going to appeal the denial. My student loans, like I said, were back full in a flash. Which, let me tell you, Social Security Administration, don't ever do that shit again. That is not right. Do it after the decision is made, if it's a positive decision. But don't get my hopes up and then have them come crashing down 20 minutes after my phone call, and I've been denied because I'm working. Anyway, I wrote Jesus H. Christ. My roomie doctor said the fucking insurance would cover the generic brand of this chemo. Now, why they didn't say that 3 weeks ago, but you know how our health insurance system is. It's a racket, and they don't give a shit about any of us, especially women and people of color, especially women of color. They don't give a shit about us. None of us. And that has to change. And centrists aren't going to change it because they profit from it as much as... I wrote a comment because there's this talk going around about, is AOC going to run for president? Please don't run for president. We made that mistake with Hillary Rodham Clinton. Like I said, I'm a socialist. I'm a feminist. I would love nothing more than to see not so much Hillary, because she was a centrist, and they were pro-Israel, like Obama was, and Biden was, and Kamala Harris was pro-Israel. We can't have that. We can't have these people that back a genocidal man who, by the international courts, has issued a warrant for his arrest for war crimes. And he should include Hegseth and Trump in that too, and others, I'm sure. But if you're pro-Israel, you should not be. And I don't believe that AOC is, because I think she's a democratic socialist too. But this country, first of all, Hillary was centrist, and we don't need any more of that. Centrist has got, decades of centrist, us going further right, as the right goes further and further, deranged right. They're just, they profit off the inequality and the income disparity as much as the Republicans do. They like the status quo. I don't think our New York governor, I don't think Chuck Schumer endorsed Mondami, because they like the status quo. They've made a shit ton of money off the status quo. And Kamala Harris should not run either, because she's pro-Israel. And I also saw he was a vegan truck. It was a guy in Denver who had a vegan food truck. And he showed a clip of an interview with Mayim Bialik. I think that's how you pronounce her name. From Big Bang Theory. And she's a famous vegan, but she's also a Zionist, which I wasn't really aware of because I don't really follow that. But apparently she's a Zionist. And he said, to me, that means she's not vegan. Because vegan, it means causing the least amount of harm to all sentient life on this planet. Not just the animals, and not just people, but people and animals. And if you're pro-Israel, you're pro-genocide. And that does not align with vegan values. And and I agree. If she is indeed a Zionist, I agree. That might be a controversial statement, but I don't care. Anyone who commits genocide, and our president's doing it too, fucking headset. None of these people can say yes or no to any question. They will not, because they know the answer they give is gonna seal their fate. So, because of course they rigged the judicial system too, but people are starting to fight back. I mean, people have always been fighting, and I thank you, people who have fought, but people are really starting to fight back. But we cannot have, our country is not ready for a female president. We're just not. We don't even have we don't even have abortion rights anymore in many states. They rolled back Roe versus Wade. It's going to take decades, if not longer, to fix the damage that this administration has done to this country. We've lost the trust of all of our NATO allies. People think we're despicable. Not us, literally, but our government is despicable and is hated and by the rest of the world. That's what Trump has done. Anyway, I hope the union okays my. God, I hope I filled out that form right. They'll tell me if I didn't. I hope. Because you have to fill it in within 30 days of claiming that you need the day you needed short-term disability. And I've needed it for longer than 30 days, so that's why I put in a longer amount of time. But we'll see what happens. I'll check with HR and see if I need to change that to just this past month so it goes through. We'll see. I have till the 30th or 31st or whatever. I guess it's 30 days, so it has to be the 30th. Anyway, I have to make a phone call appointment about emergency rent. This place, it's part of New York City's Human Resources Association. I've gotten so thin that, like, my butt bone, whatever that's called, or the base of my spine, it hurts. I have to sit on a pillow. God damn, this country. And oh wait, I got this right. Sorry, not sorry. This is life with chronic pain and illness that gets ignored and by our corrupt healthcare system. Anyway, also has been nicer. I think the breakaway, and maybe she spoke to her best friend about it. And also, I was upfront with her about. Now, this lease is only 3 months. I also have my social worker. She's going to have the legal team talk to me about this lease because I think it's not focus. I think what she has in it is legal. You're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to mandate someone. It's called like partial eviction. You're not allowed to tell someone they have to be out of their apartment, so you're not allowed. Yes, I signed it. She told me I had a week to sign it. What was I going to do? I didn't have any legal people behind me to say no. Now I'm going to. So we'll see. But she may decide not to renew my lease too. So, but she's much kinder. And like I said, she bought me this lovely blouse. This is the second time I've worn it. It's so comfortable. And it's breathable. And I love the detail here. I know I'm going over. Oh, and she also got me huckleberry. Apparently huckleberry is very big. They visited Montana. And huckleberry is very big there. So she bought me a jar of huckleberry tea. And that's what I'm drinking right now. And it's delicious. And I can smell the huckleberries and taste the huckleberries. So it's delicious. I need to eat soon because I haven't eaten since I got back from Trader Joe's and confronted that entitled young woman and her bad parent. That's who he was. For being so callous. Like I said, that's why I just don't seem to. I agree with what George Carlin said back in 2004, that I just don't hold out hope for humanity. I'm trying to save it. I'm trying to save the planet in my own small ways and all of its inhabitants. And that's the best I'm doing the best that I can with the resources I have. And the amount of energy and pain I deal with. And the hurdles I have to climb to even be officially diagnosed as disabled. And I am disabled. I have 2 disabilities. Anyway, she printed forms for me. She even wrote a letter for this HRA stating that she was aware that I'm not really in arrears because I have the money for this month. But like I said, I only have like less than $100 to last me 2 weeks until I get the paycheck. And I may not have enough. It depends on whether I get this fucking chemotherapy. I'm going to meditate tonight. I've learned that I need to meditate at night because if I meditate in the morning, I fall asleep. And then that's not good because I haven't set my alarm. And so I sleep too long and then I run late for work, which I've never been late to work. The one time I thought I was late to work, was going to be late to work, I told them so and I was still early for work. But anyway, I told her everything. So that's it. That's been my week. And people were like, yeah, we've seen you've gotten so thin. And I said, well, my body is constantly attacking. My immune system is constantly attacking my joints and my organs because I have no medication in me. And fighting and living with that sort of pain and having that fight, having that attack, a constant attack on my body, it burns more calories. And then plus it hurts too, which is why I got my Box today. Only spent $30 today. Because I just make do with the basics. And I've used it, I will check out food pantries too. And I'm working full time. And I've written Mondami about this, but I will when I have the energy right again. And I know he's got a lot on his plate. He's got a lot of promises to make come to fruition, and he's doing it. And man, if I could learn to speak the way he does, when either confronted or in interviews, he's excellent. I remember rhetoric. I wish I was better at rhetoric. The art of persuasive argumentation. Telling the truth helps. As that young woman found out earlier today. And I hope she was embarrassed, but she's probably so unaware. And I hope her father was embarrassed on her behalf. Like, shit, I didn't teach my daughter how, common courtesy. I still wish her peace, love, and healing, because she needs it, and her dad too, and the rest of the family who hasn't been taught just manners, decent manners, that yes, even half-earth socialists believe in. Anyway, I think I'm going to listen to Revolver tonight, and maybe that Steve Winwood album. I don't know what that song is, but I don't want to. I always overestimate how much I can do, but I want to listen to Revolver tonight, and I also want to watch. I didn't watch Ladies in Lavender. I just haven't had so maybe I'll watch that tonight too. And tomorrow I get to talk to Leslie, and that's wonderful. And work on the shit I have to work on to try to get some help for my condition and see what's going on with that, because I can't even remember what paperwork goes where and if I've done what paperwork I've sent to anybody, because I'm doing this all on my own, and that's what that song is about. You're on your own. Like, I do have some people in my corner, but at home I have to do this all by myself and try to keep track of it. And it's very hard when you're sleep deprived and you're in constant debilitating pain. And on that note, I wish you all peace and love and manners. Be kind. Say I'm sorry. Say please and thank you. Say excuse me. Hold doors for people. it's priceless. And let me tell you, when I left work that night, the people ahead of me, first of all, I could tell they were not New Yorkers. I could tell they were tourists. But as soon as they saw my cane, they both held the door. It was a husband and wife. They both held the door for me, both times. It's 2 doors to go out. And then the cherry on the top was that the wife complimented me on my outfit. And it was my green skirt. I wore my green skirt that I got for 79 cents on ThredUp. And I said, it's all from ThredUp? So a shout out to ThredUp. And I love that outfit too. I looked like I should have been at Wimbledon. It was very like nautical looking, which I kind of dig, even though you couldn't catch me. You will never catch me in like the Hamptons around those people. Ugh, that's just not my thing. Not my thing. All right, I've gone over an hour. So love and peace to everyone. And until next time, just be kind, okay? Lily Bell says so too. The way I give Lily Bell little soft smooches on the head, be that way. Do that the human way, without being creepy or peevish to people and animals you come into contact with during the week and through life. Okay? All right, love y'all.